Alright. I had to slide my tripod over. Anyway, I'm back. I said yesterday I was going to make a video, a political video, and I totally forgot what the hell I was going to do the video on, and I thought I had it in my notes and did not have it in my notes, so I pretty well fucked myself on that one. So, I was out today with some friends and stuff. I wanted to upload this morning, but I was out with, you know, some extended family and stuff like that. We were farting around. We went to this Mexican place in Macon called La Parelas, or how the hell it's pronounced. I can't remember the spelling of it, so I don't know how it's pronounced. But we went in there. My buddy, he said, "Hey man," he said, "I'm working to get some free dessert today." I said, "How the hell you plan on doing that? It ain't even my damn birthday. My birthday is on November 5th. He said, he said, "Well, say it's your birthday." He went over here and told the waitress. He said, "Tell it's my buddy Logan's birthday." He comes over there and he says, "There you go, happy birthday." Put a big ass sombrero on my head, take a picture of me, give me the picture, and they gave us like free these tortillas covered in like cinnamon. And they ate the whole fucking thing. I got like one piece off it. There was like 20 something pieces. I like devoured the whole damn thing. They said, "Man, that was a good dessert." And then they said, "Happy birthday, Logan," and took my sombrero and gave it back to the lady. But it's fucking hilarious. But anyway, before we get any further into this, I want to tell you, you can find my social media links in the description. I'm not going to be leaving a link to my Subscribe Star. If I can figure out how to leave a link to my PayPal, I will. But Subscribe Star is defunct right now because my profile is still under review. They've been having such a massive influx of users here recently to the point that I'm under review. And it's taking forever. I don't think anybody's reviewed my profile yet. I think it's going to be a little while, but it says it is, so we'll have to see. I'm just saying I don't think it's happening right this second. I think it'll be a while before it gets reviewed and then it goes through. But, so until that goes through, I hate PayPal. And with the type of content I make, I'll probably be banned off there if I ever get a significant audience. So I'll be, which will inevitably happen if I stay on YouTube long enough. So PayPal's, they can get fucked. I prefer Subscribe Star, but gotta do one way or the other. So so until Subscribe Star gets up, I'll just use PayPal. So my PayPal, if I can't figure out how to find a link to it, it's, if you got a PayPal, just search up Logan Cousins. Capital L in Logan, capital C in Cousins, no spaces. And the profile picture is that of a lost temple looking thing, like a Mayan stair-step temple and stuff. So yeah, it's that's the page. You'll know when you see it. But anyway, I want to talk about my book, Skybound. I've changed the title. I decided Skybound was a better one. I know in the last video I mentioned it. It was a couple weeks ago. I said I was going to change it to Skybound. So I did, because originally the title was Beyond the Black Gate. I figured it didn't match the story I was wanting to tell. And I've changed so many plot points around too. I've changed it to a sci-fi story. Still, the main character's name is still Zenith, but I just changed his entire backstory and history, so he's not even the same character, it's just the same name. But, figured I'd give you a few plot points, nothing just too crucial to the story. I've started working on it. I'm done with the prologue. But, I'm entering chapter 1. The prologue's long as shit, by the way. It's like, well, it's not really long as shit. The prologue's pretty short, but it's really detailed, though, is what I mean. It's, like, really dense. It's only a couple pages, the prologue is, but it's fucking dense as hell. But for those new subscribers of mine, I'm up to, like, 22 now, so, I know there's a lot of you that may have not went back and watched that video, so I'll give you a few details. It's about this guy, just to give you a rough summary. I don't want to spoil any plot points, because if I'm gonna try and sell this book, I don't, if you already know the plot points, then what's the damn point in trying to sell it? But, so I ain't gonna spoil anything, but I'll just give you a few, so you know, understand what it's about. It's about this guy named Zenith who's born and raised on Earth. He's born in the year 1999, and by the year 2017, the Earth's gone to shit, so it's like definitely a fictional book, because the Earth did not go to shit, obviously. But, there's this socialist dictator named Joseph Bracelli that takes over in America, and he's like an old money family, and he takes over, and and he's a globalist too, and he develops all this superior technology. He's just a total he's not a badass. He's a totally evil scumbag. but he takes over by force and takes the entire world over too, because he's globalist. But he takes over the entire world and cripples everybody's economies because he's of his socialist mentality and his socialist policies. He screws the entire world up, and in a last-ditch effort to try and save Earth, because the worldwide civil wars are draining Earth of its resources from having to make tanks, munitions, and airplanes and all this stuff that all these other nations that have been consumed by Joseph are. They're fighting back against him, trying to get their nations back, and it's just not going anywhere. And they're just fighting for to fight and fight and fight some more, and they're using up all the Earth's resources. In the last-ditch effort to get more resources, before humanity gets knocked back to the Stone Age, Joseph organizes this new branch of his government called, it's just the space branch is what I call it in the book. But they developed this new engine that uses particle acceleration. So I'm trying to make talk politics within the book too, but not in the way where it's invasive, where I'm ruining the book by directly talking about it. It's just sort of making references to things happening in the world today and putting a fictional spin on it to show you like what it could do if it was actually implemented and how it fuck the world up, how centrality can fuck things up. But and I'm also making references to real life technology, like that particle acceleration engine's a real thing. But it wasn't discovered by some dictator named Joseph, But Joseph Roselli, just in his space branch, he don't do shit, but his space branch discovers this. They invent this new technology, this particle accelerated thruster engine type deal. Not a thruster, doesn't use any thrust. It's a thruster, but it doesn't generate through afterburner thrust. It generates through particle acceleration. When the collisions hit, it creates forward momentum. But so he builds this gigantic ship called the Magnos to go to Mars to extract resources from the planet. I know it sounds like I'm telling you a whole lot of stuff here, just spoiling the book. I have not spoiled anything. This is just the prologue. The book's going to have about 20 chapters in it, and this is the prologue. So, and it's not even crucial. The book is not even about Earth. It's about Zenith leaving Earth and leaving Mars and going out to the rest of the galaxy. And that's where all the cool stuff happens. And I'm not even talking about any of that. And I won't talk about any of that. But just to give you an idea, I'm telling you about the prologue. But they go to Mars, and he's in Zenith. He leaves Earth, too. He volunteers for this mission called the Magnos mission, or the Mars mission, excuse me. And they go to the planet Mars and mine its resources. And the colonists were promised wealth, and not really wealth, but food, shelter, and all this stuff that they did not have on Earth because it was that bad. People were starving to death. Zenith's family died from starvation because of how shitty things were. It's sort of like Venezuela, where people are having to eat cows alive and their own dogs, sort of like that. But his family died of starvation, and he was about to as well, but he signed up to be a volunteer, and he escaped all of it. And then make it to Mars. He gets off, and he gets none of that, of course. Joseph's a liar. He gets enslaved in these mining camps, and he's just forced to work and work and work. He eventually gets this opposition party against Joseph formed, called the technocratic. It's called the Xenos technocracy because he took his name Zenith and just put a Xenos on it to make it sound cooler, and he named it the Xenos technocracy. And he quickly gained a lot of party members because people were so fucking desperate they were looking for any alternative they could get. And Zenith plays himself up as a god man to get the people's morale up higher. And he's like, with me leading, we can do anything. And the way I got a friend of mine, asked him, can he help me work on some concept art for Zenith? I'm not the best artist in the world, but he's a really good artist. So I'm getting him to help me work on him. Zenith's like got a braided goatee and stuff, 2 braids in it, long ass hair, sort of like my own big curly hair. And he's wears these black denim jeans and a trench coat that's open with no undershirt or anything. It's pretty cool, and he's got these shoulder pads with spikes and shit like that, and these wrist-mounted laser cannons and shit. It's pretty cool. But, he's up here but he acquires all this tech on Mars. And I won't tell you how he gets it, because that is part of the plot later on after the prologue, but he's got all this stuff, and anyway, he's speaking out against the regime there. They eventually, with the help of people you'll get to know about later on in the plot, they push back against Mars. The dictatorship of Joseph, they get pushed back to Earth, and Earth utterly collapses back into the Stone Age because they don't have any resources to keep developing things like smartphones, computers, and whatnot, so they just fucking slide back into obscurity and irrelevance and go back to the Stone Age, back to fighting each other with sticks and rocks. So, And there's a population collapse too, because they just keep breeding and breeding, and this overpopulation, they eventually have a behavioral sink. Population collapses back on Earth, and there you go. Everything goes back to shit again. Goes back to the Dark Ages, quite literally. And so Zenith did not want to go back to Earth, but that Mars had been mined of a lot of its resources too by the time of, because there were so many, there was such a demand for resources for Earth from all this warring. They just ripped the planet dry almost. So they even had to leave Mars to go and find other planets to survive on too. But they've used resources they mined from like comets and stuff to build up cities on Mars to make Mars sustainable. Terraformed it and left. Terraformed it within a matter of like several months because they had such advanced terraforming technology. So then, so many terraformers. But then they left, and after all this, and went out. Zenith with a couple thousand of his men, and went off on it. Well, a couple billion, of his men on this gigantic ship called this SS Skybound, and that's where the name came from. The name Skybound. I think I already said this, but I originally called it Beyond the Black Gate, and it didn't fit at all, and decided to change it because it didn't fit. But yeah, they go off to the stars, and then the rest is for you to find out when you hopefully, I hope you read it, because I'm putting a whole hell of a lot of effort into this. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to publish it on Amazon. I don't think I'll get cock-blocked on there, because I don't really have any overt political stuff in there. It's more references to today's society. And so I don't think I'll get banned Tommy Robinson style from publishing anything on Amazon. But, yeah, man, it's going to be cool. I've started working on it because I have enough lore either memorized in my head that I've come up with, or written down on paper, or in notes on my computer somewhere, that I have gotten enough notes together to enough lore together to start writing this massive universe. I got enough material for like 15 books, actually, just immense amounts of fucking material. Because when I start writing, I just can't quit. I just keep on going until I get so exhausted I just want to sleep. But what was that? I was going to say something. Yeah, there's a part in the book. Well, what I'm wanting to do is there's parts in the book where you'll see what I call perspective shifts. So the prologue is written like Zenith is sitting here telling his story about Earth and coming to Mars to a guy named Corvos, who's a famous writer in this universe. He's just a famous author, and he was also a Mars colonist. And this is sort of taking place it's before they leave Mars, but it's in the process of Mars being built up, so it's probably year 2026, or 2028, something like that. Or, no, 2030, excuse me, that's what I said in the book, 2030. But, he's sitting there talking to Corvos, and when he tells the story, he's sitting here, and it's written in first person. So it's like, when I was young, I did this and that. And it's written like a journal entry from his perspective, but every now and again it will pull you out of that. Remind you it is semi-third person too, because he's sitting there, he says, oh, and Corvos, don't forget to write this detail down. And it's written like he's sitting there talking to another person, and you're just sitting there listening to him talk to another person. So I wanted to do something different, because I know most books are either first or third person. I wanted to mix it up and sort of make a different perspective out of it. And it's not confusing to read. I've read over it multiple times, and to me it makes sense. I let my grandfather read it too. He said it was pretty cool. So I take it it's not going to be confusing to keep up with it all, but it's just something new I'm trying out to make my book more interesting. And what happens is when the story catches up, when his backstory catches up to what's happening now, you can only tell so much, and then it's like he tells about the mission to Mars, and he tells about what all happened when he got there, and then he says, and the reason Corvos already knew all this, but he's just telling him to write this stuff down so that if Zenith ever dies, Zenith is telling Corvos to write all this down in case he ever dies, his memory won't be forgotten. He'll live on in death, so and he'll inspire future generations to fight back against corruption and stuff too. And so he's telling him to write all this stuff down before he goes on this massive journey off into the cosmos, because he may never come back. And because like I said, he leaves Mars and goes off to the universe to find other worlds and stuff. And he may never come back from that, so he's writing this stuff down. That's your prologue. And then when he stops writing, he says, all right, Corvos, that's enough. You can go now. And then Corvos leaves his quarters, and then he's like, okay. And then he goes off, and then it shows him interacting with other characters and stuff like that. And it sort of switches perspectives every now and again. Like maybe in like chapter 5 or something, you'll get to see I'll sort of, I'm not gonna switch character perspectives. Like I'm not gonna switch characters where it'll go from the perspective of Zenith to this dude, because that would be confusing. But it's sort of, you'll have to read it to know what I'm talking about. But it's sort of it switches from a journal-like entry, a journal entry-like thing where it's written from his perspective only, to a mixture of both, and sometimes third person, where it's like you're outside of him looking down at what's going on. So it sort of switches from all of that and sort of merges into one another, makes this one big, really cool conglomeration of different perspectives and styles of writing. And I just thought it was neat because it adds a new flavor to it. Because I was reading back through what I had written so far, which is just the prologue. I've written a few sentences in chapter 1, but nothing really substantial. Maybe like 2 or 3 sentences. But I mean, I just started working on it this morning, but it's cool so far. I think you'll like it when I get done with it. But I'm gonna do some more status updates like this, like every little while. You know, I'll let you know how far I'm into it, because it's not gonna be a quick process. Like who is the guy that writes this? Yeah, Tara Warwick, 6X and Hammer. He writes the fucking he revises all those occult texts and stuff. You know. He seems to do that very quickly and get them out just one after the other, and that's because he's not making his own shit. I think he has before, but it's because for the most part he's revising stuff and re-releasing old material, just translating parts of it to new lingo and stuff like that, new words and things to keep it up with the times. But what I'm doing, I'm just creating something from scratch, so don't expect this to be a very quick thing. I've also got to write out all the lore for this and do concept art and all this crazy shit. It ain't gonna take no damn years either. I can see it probably being released in a couple months, 4 or 5 months or something like that. So it might be sooner than that, but that's just like a placeholder date. It ain't gonna take no longer than that, I promise you. But if it does, then you can call me a damn liar. But because here I am.